I was 17 when my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. She had always been the strongest person I knew, the kind of woman who could fix a broken chair and a broken heart in the same afternoon. But cancer didn't care. It took her, piece by piece, day by day, until the woman who once carried me on her back could barely lift a spoon. Through it all, she fought. For me and my dad, he wasn't there. "Business trips," he said. "Work is crazy right now." I believed him. I thought he was out there doing what he had to do to provide for us. I excused every missed dinner, every late night, every tired "I'm sorry, kid," when he came home long after I had gone to bed. Then, 2 years later, she was gone. And 5 months after we buried her, my dad introduced me to his new girlfriend. I remember standing in our living room, looking at this woman sitting next to my father. She smiled at me like we were old friends. Because we were. She was my mom's friend. Something inside me twisted. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. How? "Could you move on so fast?" I finally choked out. My dad sighed, rubbing his temples like I was the one being difficult. "It's not what you think," he said. But it was. Because when I kept pushing, when I refused to just smile and nod like he wanted me to, he finally admitted it. We've been together for 3 years. 3 years. I felt like I was going to be sick. 3 years meant that while my mother was lying in a hospital bed fighting for her life, he was sneaking off to be with her. While I was sitting with Mom holding her frail hand, he was holding someone else's. While I was begging God, fate, anyone to let her live, he was off living a whole different life. The worst part, she knew his mistress, his fiancée, had been a friend of my mother. She had smiled in my mom's face, hugged her, asked her how she was feeling, all while sleeping with her husband. I packed my bags that night and left. I never spoke to my father again. I built a life without him. The only family member I kept in touch with was my aunt, the one who helped me escape. Then, one random afternoon, my phone rang. "Have you spoken to your dad?" my aunt asked. I almost laughed. "Why would I?" She hesitated. "He's getting married. He wants you there." Silence. And then, a voice I hadn't heard in 8 years. "It's been long enough," my father said. "Don't you think it's time to forgive?" I hung up. The next few days were hell. My phone blew up with texts, calls, messages from people I hadn't heard from in years. My uncles, cousins, even his fiancée texted me, "Family is family. Your dad is hurting." It's a son's duty to be there for his father. And when none of that worked, the insults started. "You're selfish. You're ungrateful. Your mother would be ashamed of you." That last one almost got to me. Almost. Then, I got a wedding invitation in the mail. The only person in the family who knew my address was my aunt. That was it for me. I sent one last message to every single number that had called or texted me. My father cheated on my dying mother for 3 years. I will never forgive him. Then I blocked them all. I thought that would be the end of it. But a week later, my aunt's fiancé showed up outside my apartment. He wasn't there to convince me. He was there to warn me. Apparently, my message had started a war. Some of my younger cousins, who never knew what happened, began questioning everything. When they confronted my dad and his fiancée, they got defensive. Then, someone in the family confirmed it. That was all it took. Some cousins pulled out of the wedding, then some family friends, who had also been close to my mother, heard the truth. More people pulled out. My dad panicked. He wanted to postpone the wedding. His fiancée, she lost it. She accused him of choosing me over her, threatened to leave if he delayed the wedding, and started banning people from attending if they so much as mentioned my name. They still got married. But by the time the wedding happened, it wasn't the grand affair they had planned. Many seats were empty, many faces were missing, all because I told the truth. I haven't heard from my father since. I moved to a new city. I started therapy, I started healing. And my father, he got his wedding, his new wife, his new life. But I wonder, when he looked around the half-empty room, when he saw all the people who chose to walk away instead of standing by him, did he finally understand? Did he finally realize that betrayal has consequences? I guess I'll never know. And honestly, I don't care. People love to say, but he's your father, as if that excuses everything. But family isn't just blood. It's not just DNA. Family is the people who love you, who stand by you, who choose you. And that man? He stopped choosing me the second he betrayed my mother. He stopped being my family a long, long time ago. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.